Work? Yep. All right. So let's talk about next week first of all. So next week is final exam week, right? Our slotted time, I think, is a normal class time, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do next week is we'll have how many total people do we have? I think 9. 2 hours. What I want to do is I want everybody to show their project and talk about what's working, what's not working, what was harder than you thought it was going to be, those types of things. So even if your project is crashing or not, you can't even let you log in, still show it, tell us what you were trying to do, and all that jazz. And so let's see. So 2 hours, so let's say that's 20 minutes. 20. All right, so let's make them about 12-minute presentations. Sound good? So next week at this time, everybody will present their projects that they've been working on. So make it 12 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to present, and then 2 minutes for questions, something like that. Sound good? That'll be our final exam.
12 minutes with 2 minutes of questions, or 10 minutes with 2 minutes of questions?
10 minutes with 2 minutes. I think it's what I said, isn't it?
I was just verifying.
Yeah, 12 minutes total.
So are we gonna have class for the other 2 hours then?
I don't. Are we supposed to? I don't think. I'm happy to go 4 hours if you guys want.
What else would we do?
Well, the thing is that since it's final exam week, the premise is that students might be studying for other exams. So I think we should probably stick to the 2-hour exam slot.
It's two, no, it's not. I think it's the whole time of the class.
I think it is for night classes, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
guess that doesn't
I don't think
make
that's right.
sense, but-
I don't think that's right. I think it's a 2-hour class. All right, so plan on that. Okay, so let's keep cooking here. See where we left off. So I think your homework assignment was to have your mobile app processing payments, right? And then what else was on the assignment? I think there was something else. Catch it up to where we are. Yeah. Okay, well, that's disconcerting. All right, which screen is this on? This is User Services Table View Controller. All right, so I guess we're not off. Wouldn't we have not gotten into the app to begin with? Let me just run this again real quick. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think it errored out because it still thought it was logged in here. And all right, so this is from a user's perspective, and then can we add new things? Do we have this working already? I can make a request from this guy, so, or is this where we left off?
What? Requests?
Yeah, so this doesn't work yet, right? Because we need to have payments as part of this. Okay, so, and then if we come back in as a provider, we can claim this, right? Don't hit the kids, you like that? All right, so this is pending. Claim it, confirm. Now it's in our incomplete list. Okay, so that's working on the Provider side, we can also complete something. If we log out, come back in as admin. Admin sees all the complete and incomplete things. If they click on incomplete, that nothing happens. Complete, oh, we just have it listing everything right now, right? So we're not actually doing anything with the admin. All right, so looks like next up on the docket then would be to get our user request thing working. Is it user one? Okay. And when we request anything, are we doing anything yet here? Okay, we have that guy popping up. Oh, look at that. Just keeps moving around. Good. All right, so this is where we left off because I remember messing with this at the end of class last time. Okay, so let's work on this form. So this is on the user side, and it's on the user new user or new service request page. All right, and this guy is our payment card text field delegate. He participates in that. Our payment text field, which is the guy that takes in the credit card information, is right here. I want to check something here real quick. Payment text field dot currently entered information. Just do a search here. Because we need to set the cost. So do we already do this in App Delegate for accepting the payment? Yeah, here's our publishable key, so we have that part. All right. So we could actually give this guy his frame, but if I remember correctly, we were having problems programmatically putting him on the screen.
I found that if you use it as an ID outlet, it's much easier.
So what, you just created, this guy is what, it's just a normal text field?
So, no, that's technically some derivative of a view, right? So I just,
You made a view, changed
and I
it.
changed the view to type STP payment or STP
Yeah.
payment thing.
Okay,
Linked it and
so you went and did this.
And I made it the same size as our CG rect that we made programmatically. So I think that's 15 from the margin and then 44 tall.
Well, so here's that stack. So you basically took made a view, this guy, and let's squeeze him down a little bit, and let's change him to be one of those dudes. And I assume his height is what, like 44 or something? It's at 44?
Yep.
And then we don't need to worry about the width right now. We want to go ahead and get this guy dropped in. Nope, dropped. there, but let's get it down to the bottom there. Then we can stretch it out. There. Okay, so let's start off by clearing all constraints. So everything comes back. Okay. Oh, it actually looks like a text field now.
Does it?
It looks like it. Doesn't that look like a thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and try to just reset the suggested constraint, see what that does. Looks legit enough.
You didn't link it up yet.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to even use it. I just wanted to see how it looks.
Oh, okay.
But we can go ahead and do this. All right, so there's that guy. So we can hook it up, I guess. Payment text field right there. And let's see if it at least shows up okay now. Okay, well, it looks reasonable enough. We need to probably get this guy set up. So we're gonna, when we change this and change the price here, we need that to update, right? So we need to go ahead and have be able to know when this particular text box was edited. So we're gonna add a listener on that. So let's go back here, and I'm gonna get rid of that constraint because I think that's the guy that was keeping it from being. Okay. All right, so let's handle this now where when I toggle snow and lawn, what do we want to do? When we toggle it, should we leave number of cars the same, but the price could possibly change? Probably, because if we have a number in here, this could adjust that price. Didn't we hard code it as what, 8 and 10? So 8 for lawn, 10 for snow. That sound right? All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to create a couple of IB actions then. So we're going to have one IB action for this guy. So I'm going to hook it up. So we want to know whenever these guys toggle. So when I click on the segments there, one of the things here is called value changed. All right, so we want to know when the value of that guy has changed. So let's go into our code here. We do not have access to the segments, so we'll give ourselves access then. Actually, I think we want to have access to the segments up here. So let's call this guy. And we actually don't even need main stack anymore, do we? So let's just steal that. We were using that when we were trying to programmatically put the credit card thing into the stack. So we'll go ahead and get this as our, call these guys type segments. And this is a UI segmented control. Now one thing that you may or may not have noticed for those of you who are doing iPhone versions of your app is anytime you see a UI, that's something you see on the screen. So UI, user interface, that's something you see. So pretty much whenever you are trying to set up a variable in here that's related to something you see out here, if you know this guy's a segmented thing, try UI, seg, and it'll pop up. Otherwise, you can just come out here and click on it, click on the identity inspector, and you can see this guy's a UI segmented control. Tells you what kind of animal he is. All right, so we'll come in here. So this gives us access to those type segments. And now I'm going to create an action. IB action, func, segments, value changed, sender, UI segmented control. All right, so when this guy gets called, we probably want to just keep track of some current variables. So we'll say var current price per car, since we're doing everything in terms of number of cars right now. So let's see, the default segment is snow, right? So you said that was 10? All right, so that's 10. And so that's initially the segment is set as 10. So when segment value change, we'll say if sender dot selected segment index, if that guy is equal to 0, then self dot current price per car is equal to 10, else it's equal to 8. Like that. All right, so whenever we change those segments, this guy should automatically get called, and he'll update this variable so that whenever we need it, it's the correct value. So let's go ahead and hook that up before we forget. And let's get rid of this stuff in here because we're not using that anymore. That's for our save button. Let's go back out here. I'll go ahead and delete the main stack thing, so because we got rid of that outlet. We will connect up our type segments. We'll also connect up this new segments value changed. Drag that to our segments. Connect it to the value changed event for those segments. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can connect it to, but whenever our segments are changed, we want to be notified. We want to handle that event, and then we'll ask the segment that called it, what's your current index right now? And based on the current index, we'll update that value. Okay, so we have that. Now we also want to have a listener associated with this number of cars. Is there an update constraints? That should fix that. All right, well, it actually didn't, but whatever. Okay, so whenever we change this text field, we want to know, so we have, I actually don't think, value changed is what we think it is, or what I think it is. I think there's another way to get that, but let's try it real quick. So I'll go in here, we'll create another IB action. Func number of cars value changed. Sender UI text field actually. And then for right now, let's just say we'll print sender.text like that. And we'll hook that guy up with the expectation that whenever we type something in this box, it'll call that that function and just display the current contents of the box to the screen. So let's go here, and that's called number of cars value changed. This guy, hook it up to value changed. Let's go ahead and run this. it doesn't call that. So we need to actually, there's a text field delegate. So let's dump this first. We don't need that guy. This is UI text field delegate. Let me look at the methods for this guy real quick. Text field. That's not going to do what we want it to do either. Maybe it's another one of these events. So it's not value changed. Oh, it's editing changed. That is what it is. Now it should get called every single time we do that. I think it's a text view, UI text view, that uses a delegate for the different values. Yeah, so that guy got notified. Here's our LOL each time we changed it. All right, so we're going to have we have a keyword associated with that that's numbers only? Because it should be. Nope. Let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go back in here. We'll choose our keyboard for this guy. Where's my keyboard option? Oh, keyboard type. Number pad. All right, so just numbers go in there. So that should be good enough. We don't need to error check it. Technically, I think there's probably like a pound sign or something like that on there, but we won't worry about that. Well, maybe not. Should be good. All right, so as this is updating, we'll have our number of cars. We'll read in the text from that. We need to convert that to an integer. We'll store it inside of a variable, and then we should be updating this current price label for the current value that we need to charge. So let's go ahead and do that. We already have this guy hooked up to anything. Nope. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a current price label. This guy is going to be a UI label. And then let's hook that up. Current price label. Right there. All right, and initially, let's set the current price to $0 when we first start the app. So just do that. 0. All right, so as we're typing in things here, we want this value to change, but we also want to globally store the current number of cars, because I think we're going to have to recalculate those values when we actually go to set the credit card information up. But it won't hurt to store it in a variable anyways. So we're going to have var current number of cars. Start that off at 0.
You might as well make the price out there so that because then when you'd be able to just put it into the.
That's fine. Var current price will also be equal to, let's set that to 0.0. Let's actually make all of these, well, we'll leave number of cars at that sand in my hair. It was, I thought I felt something like drip down in my eye. It's like, so this is why you need an ocean, right? Just go, except you said you go to the pool, not the ocean. Oh yeah, I asked. When we finished beach volleyball, I asked where the, yeah. And then I was trying to get some of the students to wash my feet, but that wasn't well received. All right. The real question here is, I think Emo doesn't necessarily believe I played beach volleyball.
No,
I understand.
you.
I dove too, didn't I? That was pretty loud. Yeah, I can project.
Yes.
Right?
Very good.
Oh, you haven't even heard it. I'm very quiet in the classroom. Even when I tell you to shut up. When you, wasn't I like really loud?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
I can belt it. Oh yeah. All right. So as we are updating our number of, let's go ahead and update our value. So we'll say self dot current number of cars is equal to. Can we convert it right to so sender dot text dot to int? Well, I think you got to do this. I think that'll do it. Oh, doesn't like that either. Oh, there. All right. So yeah. So the possibility is that you'll get a, if you pass this, if you pass the int constructor a non-numeric string, it'll pump out a nil, not a real value. We'll assume it's correct, so we'll just put an exclamation here, point saying, trust me, it's a real value you'll get out of this because I'm only going to give you string representations of numbers. That keeps us from having to write an if statement. Okay, and then after we've updated that value, then we want to go ahead and say self.current price is equal to self.current, almost a whole lot of current number of cars times self.current price per car. And then finally, what is that? Does it not like something there? Self-current number of cars. Oh, it wants this to be a, there. Might as well just make it a double here and it'll change later on. But that'll make this guy work, which means then we change this to a double instead of an int. So current number of cars will be the double version of what I would type in there. It'll be like 5.0, but that's fine. That way multiplication will work. It is weird that Swift doesn't allow multiplication between a double and an int. It makes you cast one of them. Always, I don't know, just seems dumb. Okay, so there's our current price. Now we'll update the label. Self dot, what's it, price label? Current price label dot text is equal to $, backslash that self dot current price. Like that. Should be good enough-ish. Okay. So let's see how that guy works out now. Alright, so we can toggle that however we want. We'll put a 5 there. We're at $50. If I switch it to lawn, oh, we need to have the toggle update there as well. So here we want to let's just put a func in here. Func update price label. We'll put that stuff in there. And then this guy will say self.update price label. And we'll do the same thing when the segments changed. So we'll update the price label when the segments change. We'll update the price label when the price or the number of cars change. And that'll all go through the same middle function. So now it's a pretty active form. If I put a 5 in here, that's 50. If I change it there, that's 40. 52. Change. Whoa. Oh. Tried to convert. Remember that if statement I said we didn't have to write? Probably should have written it. Because it just tried to convert the empty string into a number, and I said, trust me, it's a number. That's why it crashed. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let value equal double sender dot text, something like that. Actually, what we can do is we can just do this. This would be the quicker way of doing it. If sender.text is equal to the empty string, just return. So we'll bail out if the text is, what is that going at? Sender is a UI text field. Oh, double equal sign. Schoolboy error. All right, so if the current text in there is the empty string, just go ahead and return. Don't try to do any conversion stuff. Otherwise, it's got to have some numbers, so go ahead and do conversion stuff. So that should be good. So there's our 5. Change it. Okay, we're still good there. 13, whatever. Okay. So that all seems legit. So then we can put in our credit card information. And then when we ultimately hit save, this needs to talk to something, right? All right, and this is where you said you were having issues, and that's on the Android side?
No, I was in the iOS.
You were doing iOS too? Okay. So
The documentation's crap.
for starting, the starting point, we need to get our server up and running, right? Because we have our node server that ends up processing our payment for us. So,
But the server should be the exact same as the.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're using the same server.
Yeah.
Whether it's the web interface or our iPhone interface, it's that same central node server. We don't have to write it again. Okay, so let's see. Oh. Node app. What row? Address and use 3000. But I have it running on the. I do. Server was already running. Here, let's just kill this one because there's just. I don't feel like that's going to be healthy. There we go. All right, so server is now running. Just as a quick reminder, if you will, what do I use? Sublime? Jake hasn't converted me over yet. Let's see.
Yeah, old Alex is converted.
Are you? Wait, Adam? Using Adam now? Can you actually program? Or still not? I mean, does it make you a better programmer, or still it's not good?
That depends. How much time you need.
Well, but the important thing is that we're all still students, so we're supposed to be sucky programmers, and eventually we'll be good programmers, right? I mean, you do hard things enough times, you end up getting good at it. No, trust me, that works. I've been doing this for a few minutes. You're supposed to find this stuff difficult. You're supposed to go home and spend hours and hours and hours and be like, well, I just wasted a half a day. But at the end of the day, if you look back on it, be like, you know what, I spent 8 hours on it, but I know a whole bunch about what doesn't work. There's a bunch of crap there that I know will not function. So learning has taken place even if you don't have anything on the back end to show for it. So I expect when you guys give your presentations next week that, well, not just that, but I expect that there'll be plenty of effective, stories like, okay, well, I've spent 100 hours on this and my login button doesn't work. Okay, but let's hear the story of your experience, right? This is all the minefields that you stepped on along the way and all the things that went wrong, and I deleted my code 4 times. 3 of the times it was on purpose. 1 of the times totally not on purpose. I always wondered, because I'm thinking, we had typewriters when I was much younger. But if you go, way back, so let's go, I don't know, 40 years ago or something like that, like today, if you're writing a term paper or something like that, and you make a little typo, you hit the backspace, right? Well, I mean, you had the whiteout and stuff like that, and then they had the typewriters that had kind of the whiteout built into it that would make it the exact shape of the letter, so it would retype it with whiteout. But what if it was like a really important document that you couldn't have like white out on it and stuff like that? Like, will you just retype it? Don't screw up. That seems like it would be like.
Sounds like it take forever.
Well, yeah.
You have to be very careful that you didn't mess up.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is you only have to redo 1 page, right? But if you go back and change a sentence and it changed where something began or ended on a page, you're rewriting whole chapters. I don't think you would have made it, Hunter. You barely make it now.
Too many mistakes.
Seriously. Especially writing. Oh my gosh, I can't write worth anything. When in doubt, add commas. All right, I just want to see what this guy, so our checkout function.
Is that when you start talking to your phone as a text, like randomly, it'll just be like, cow?
Seriously. Yeah, I figure Siri will fix it. All right, so this was our activation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we're saying processing payment. So we're bringing in our Stripe token. So we need to pass this guy and this is a post request, right? Yep, post. So we're passing it our Stripe token. We're passing it the amount. So why is this hard at all?
No, because if you go to the
Well, you were saying you have trouble with the amount.
with the iOS side.
Yeah, go back to the Swift side.
That part I didn't have a problem with. The Swift side and the documentation with
Yeah, if we
Fire
already
Beach.
have it working for our website, then
Yeah.
we even need to, I changed nothing on my server.
Yeah,
No,
I-
right. That's what I'm saying. Don't I just send the amount to this as part of the
Yeah,
post
exactly,
parameters?
Yes, exactly, yes, that. But go back
I was
to the
looking
Swift
through.
side.
Go to the Swift side.
Okay. So
It's-
you're saying I'm missing something.
I partially blame Stripe,
Yes.
Stripe because they mistyped it.
Well, and was that I guess it was partially the
I mean, hold on. So
go down.
when I process the payment, so I'm in my save, right?
Yes, when you do your post request, yeah. You didn't have that in there yet.
Right. But how are you going to do? So
You go to Stripe. You have to go to Stripe and get the documentation or the request for when you push save.
Okay. Isn't that where I'm at here?
Yes. No. Keep scrolling.
Let's go right here.
Oh, you're looking at some other websites that they might type it right actually. trying to, what's the actual post request?
No, that's the action create token. No.
So func payment card
That's
text
just
field.
saying that right there is saying that the pay button, so the save button is only enabled once the
You've filled out the
form is
entire credit
completely
card.
filled out. So you can't try to send the request without a card.
Okay, so this guy. So where does the pay button show up?
The pay button is you're supposed to create the pay button so that when it.
All right, so I put a button down here.
It's a bar button item, save at top, I mean, it really doesn't matter.
So that's
Tell that
so
one to be
basically that's
disabled.
invisible until.
All right, yeah, whatever. Okay, I got it. So then we are going to create our token.
Yep.
And then it says send the token to the back end and create the charge. So Stripe create token with card. So here's our token.
That's,
And now we just call our node server, right?
no.
Yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. Yes. Yes.
The problem
yes.
he had is because on the official Stripe documentation, the post request that they make, rather than actually passing in the token, they pass in the word token dot
Yeah.
Stripe token dot token.
Or like a string
Yeah.
instead of a
They-
variable.
In parentheses, they just forgot the slash.
And then
So-
the ampersand for the amount.
Yeah, that way you can append the amount.
All right.
of the request as well. That's what you have to figure out.
Well, we're going to do this the cool kid way anyways.
Oh, great.
You act like that always leads us astray.
Guess we'll see.
All right, so what's this guy complaining about? Stripe.create token. Ooh.
String.
Oh, Stripe. I told you we're doing cool kid way. Create token with card.
Let me have that.
I'm going to rate it again because it seems to be complaining about something. The card is self.payment text field dot card. Completion is going to be this block, and here's our token, and here's our error in this code. Ooh. Yeah, I don't like that code anyways. It's dumb code. So if token not equal to nil, so that means that we actually have a token. What's this guy complaining about here? Cannot convert value of type STP card params to expected argument STP card. All right, so this guy must not be so we must have to do STP card
They did STP API client dot shared client dot create token with card.
Well, right, but it doesn't think this guy's a card. So the question is, how do I get my card? So
Is it it said just let card equal payment text field dot card.
well, yeah, but that's an STP card params, not a STP card from card params. Let's do that. STP card from STP card params.
You can just do the params in there.
It doesn't like it.
Go back to it.
It's yelling that I can't convert
All right.
params. So is there enough?
Oh, is it-
So I
is
can
it-
see what you have.
Does it have to be self?
Well, I'm getting it from our. Let's.
I don't think you need self even. Yeah,
Well, payment text field is the name of my
that would matter,
guy up there. Okay, so
oh, you passed it as a parameter to stripe dot create token.
yeah, so that's what we're doing, right?
Okay, you have to use STP
yes.
client.
Create. You said ST API client. That create token.
Shared client.
That create token.
Card, and then you can pass
Oh, that takes params.
card
All right,
details.
I gotcha. So then this guy will be a self dot payment text field dot card. Completion will be our token and our error. Okay. Okay, so now we have our token, so all we need to do is call our server, right? Okay. And let's see, do I have Alamo Fire in here? We don't. Oh, I told you.
I should have used that.
Told you we're doing
We're
doing it the cool kids way.
That is the cool kids way.
All right, so Alamo Fire. So we've already been using some CocoaPod projects here, Firebase and Stripe. Historically, for talking to RESTful APIs, if you use the built-in Swift HTTP stuff, that's fine. It works, but it's a little bit cryptic to work with. There was the original go-to move for talking to RESTful APIs was a project called AFnetworking, which you can still use. CocoaPods actually makes it easier to use now. But the problem with AFnetworking, and this is where AlamoFire started becoming popular, was AFnetworking was a project written in Objective-C, not in Swift. So for a time period, it was really difficult to embed AFnetworking into a Swift project. You had to do this thing called a bridging header. So a Swift project can use Objective-C libraries, but it requires that you create this header file that allows the Swift side of your project know about some Objective-C sides of things. Because we could actually do a pod AFnetworking and it would work. You don't have to do the header thing because CocoaPods does the magic for you. But AlamoFire, as part of that, kind of became popular. So let me go ahead and do a pod update in here. So, just on Haley. Yeah. It's not even a phone or how long would they allow that bug to stay? This is Apple's Bonjour networking for years.
I just finally took that off of my terminal, so I don't ever even see it.
Yeah. For years, my terminal just assumes I'm on somebody else's network. And it changes every class. I don't remember the last time I saw like Mike Littman's MacBook Pro or something like that there. It's always been something else.
I had Fair's iPhone the other week.
Oh, you lucked out. The moon's aligned. Was he here? Because that would be more concerning.
I saw him the next day. I had a picture of it and showed it to him, but not the same day that after I noticed that, that's when I was like, okay, I want to just get rid of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I should have taken some Advil after that sand volleyball. I'm not equipped for those kind of impacts. No, I'm drinking all the water because I had to drink the it's a lowercase f. Because I had to drink the soda. Well, I didn't have to, but I drank the non-diet soda.
Yeah. And
I'm not supposed to have sugar in that kind of quantity, and I was kind of chugging it. So trying to dilute the system. Oh, we got a new version of Stripe too. Everything should be broken now. Let's see. Cocoa Puz is the best way to find the Alamo Fire stuff. Alamo
Did you
Fire.
just get it?
I did. I just
Oh,
want to
you
get
did.
an example of talking to request. Okay, yep, that's all I needed. AlamoFire. All right, so now we'll go into, is it our user, this guy, save button. Well, let's just assume that we filled it out for right now. So we'll go ahead and we'll say that we're going to import AlamoFire. AlamoFire. Let's build here. Yeah, see, this is the new version. No, there's no card. It's now card params. Oh, you don't. You have to unwrap something. Okay. All right. Save button. So we have our token, and in our server, we need to send this guy Stripe token and amount. Is that it? Nothing else? 2 pieces of information? All right, so AlamoFire dot, what is it? Request. Method is going to be dot post. URL is going to be, oh wait, hold on, I'm using the wrong version of this. Oh, I just need to do my parameters first. Here we go. Steal that as a starting point.
This is a joke now.
Huh? So what was it? Stripe token? Stripe token? Stripe token. This guy will take in a token. Is there like a dot?
ID.
Is that what it is? Token ID? Is that the string? All right. And then the other guy is amount. Amount. And that is in self.currentPrice.
Need to convert it to a string or no?
No. Probably, well, I think we did have to convert this one to a string because we assumed it was a string, but whatever. Now we can do our Alamo. See, do I need to? Oh, there's the parameters. AlamoFire.request. Yeah, this one. Ooh, I don't like that one. AlamoFire.
Why didn't you like that one?
I had to give it encoding and everything. Is the encoding optional? It might be. Let's try to just get rid of all that. Method.post. URL is going to be http:// ooh, put that in a string. 3,000.
Yes.
And then parameters are our parameters.
You need to pass the checkout part.
Who?
The checkout,
Check out.
that's what it's under ours. The post request is /checkout.
Oh, I got it. I get it. It's not just the home, it's this endpoint. Except it's this endpoint.
You can do it either way.
Really?
Actually, I think it's the 3,000 then checkout.
This one? Well, it actually makes sense. Go to this server / that's fine. Okay. Doesn't like it that I didn't give it all the parameters? Oh, that's fine. All right, so that should put the request, that should make the request for our payment. So let's go ahead and try, oh, I'm never actually creating a token, am I? So,
Didn't you?
well,
Oh, no.
I never call it. Self dot create token. Let's call this guy and process. Let's just call it process payment. It'll do all the stuff. Okay. All right. So we'll do some snow. 50 cars. Fill in our credit card. Hit save. The theory is we should see something. Is our save button hooked up? Ooh, it says it's hooked up. So let's follow the
Oh, you didn't go in.
oh, the transport stuff.
Let's go to your info.p list.
Do we have to add a thing to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta add that dictionary and then add that Boolean value instead of DS.
There's an actual, I don't remember where I found it, but.
Yeah, allow arbitrary loads, app transport security settings. And this app transport security. The right app transport security. And then we need to have NS allow arbitrary loads. Allow arbitrary loads, Boolean. Yes. That should do it. Processing payments for $500. I would would expect we should see this in Stripe. Payments. Right there. Where's mine? Oh, I didn't. I need to multiply it by what, 100?
Yeah.
To get the. I'll just do it in my. I'll just do it in my dictionary.
Right there.
Aha. What's that? That's not going to process, is it? There we go. Getting sand on my keyboard. Somebody's supposed to like go out and like rake the sand. Like who's supposed to do that? Is there like a person whose job on campus it is to rake the volleyball courts?
You can hire somebody
Have you ever played on these courts?
a couple times.
Low end, right?
Lots of rocks.
I didn't see any. I didn't feel any rocks.
Well, it's pretty bad when it comes to that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice any rocks. Did you?
Only in certain places. So like when you're by the nest, like that corner is really bad. There's like no sand there. It's just like straight.
Maybe I was going like right past. Maybe I was creating some pretty deep craters. I was kind of like mid shin deep in this. Right there. $2,000. There we go. All right, so we're processing payments now. All right, so let's see, what else do we need to be able to do on the, probably after, I'm actually going to change this request here real quick. AlamoFire.request. Isn't there one that also has a, oh, maybe not. So we just made a request. Will the, let's see if that previous screen will update. Self.dismiss, view controller animated, true, no completion. That should make it go away, so we go back to the previous page. If I remember correctly, isn't our previous page updating in real time? Oh, wait a minute. Is it our job? The server doesn't talk to Firebase. We should talk to Firebase. So we didn't. We just charged the money but never actually created a request. Right? Because I don't see a request here. So we never hit Firebase to actually create that new. This guy doesn't talk to Firebase. Okay. So we need to create a request in Firebase to actually do this right, rather than just steal money from people. All right. profile. Roles. Service requests. All right, so we need to add a service request, right? Okay. So let's start that guy off. So after we process the payment, I thought there was an Alamo Fire. I thought there was one that had a completion.
Is there like a dot response type thing? Or you can get the response on it?
Well, that's a good question. Let me try this full one here. Is this the, yep, he doesn't have a, Alamo Fire. Fire request response. Let's go that route. Request and JSON response. Well, it looks like we can do it off the end of this guy. Dot. Should do it what we need. Make sure that builds. Ooh. So is this what the heck is that? Alamo Fire response string. Response string. We don't want JSON. suppose we could send a JSON back. But this is a response. What kind of animal is that? Request, response, data, error should be, so this is response dot what, like value? Let's just print it out. Print response. Because our server is actually writing something out, right?
Should be sending errors and stuff.
Yeah, send error, okay. So let's see what we get here. That was pretty weird looking syntax. I hadn't seen that before. And obviously if I hadn't seen it, it's probably not worth knowing. I'm actually interested in what it is. Alright, so we might go back and look at that here in a second. Alright, let's go ahead and step over. Content length is 7. Is that the number of characters? And I'm guessing yes.
Well, that's success is 8.
Is it?
No, it is 7.
All right, so there must be some stuff in.
Well, what's the data then?
Oh, it's actually a good point. Maybe data is the actual data. It'd be awesome if you were testing this on a real credit card. Optional crazy stuff. All right.
Did you try? Which one did you try already?
Well, I think we need to get to one of the functions inside of the result. Result. This guy was what kind of bug description? I don't think that's going to give us any more really, but let's check it anyways. All right, so that's an NS-HTTP URL response.
Is it the text HTML? Is that what it's? Is that how the response is?
Well, no, that's the type of response. So get body. data out. Reveal yourself. Click. See, got sand under the trackpad now. Doesn't even doesn't click good. Well, that was a wasted click anyways. Well, it looks like it probably is in that response thing, or that data thing rather. Let's try this. Data, and then we can print out response data. So the response seems to not unwrapped. So we will unwrap it. So like the response tells us what the data looks like and then tells us how to, depending on what kind of data it is, we might do different things. Oh, bad credit card. Success.
Yes.
Who's gonna break first? All right, so so now we can just ask the question: if response data, response data is equal to success, print save the thing to Firebase. So let's just run that to there. Actually, we don't even need to run it to there. Let's just run it. We should say see save the thing to Firebase out there. And there's our save the thing to Firebase. So now we actually need to save it to Firebase. So we'll let ref. Do I have Firebase in here? Right, but I need to import it here, right? Let ref equal core dot Firebase ref dot child by appending path service underscore requests. Is that right? Is that the name of the thing? Service underscore requests and then child by auto ID dot child by appending auto ID. That's the new guy, right? Okay, then we need to build up our dictionary of stuff. And dictionary of stuff is going to be completed cost. All right, so let's start building a dictionary. Let dictionary equal string any object. I know we could just, well, let me do it this way. Dictionary at bucket completed is equal to false. And then cost is equal to, what's this guy complaining about? And then dictionary at bucket. So let's go, let me copy this real quick. At bucket cost is equal to self dot current price times 100. We're storing it like that, right? The number of, yeah. And then dictionary instructions is equal to self dot, well, do I not have an outlet for our instructions? I have special instructions but no outlet for it. It's just bad form. Current price label. Oh. Special instructions text view. That's called TV. UI text view. If I don't hook it up now, I'll forget. Special instructions text view. There we go. Look in here, go back in here, get rid of that. Self dot special instructions text view dot text. And then we have name. Is it just lawn? Is that what we had it? Snow or lawn? Is that the... Well, we just have all snow, so I guess we could just decide. Okay, so that's the name. Provider is going to be N/A initially, right? Where we don't have a provider. Does that sound right to you guys? We set it to N/A. Self dot name dictionary provider is equal to N/A lowercase. Size is current number of cars. Self dot current number of cars. Type is also name. Self dot name. It's type. And then user is us. So that's core dot firebase ref dot auth data dot uid. And then ref dot set value to dictionary. Actually, let's do set value with the completion block. Dictionary completion block error Firebase if error is equal to nil. That means everything went swimmingly. Then we'll go ahead and say self dot dismiss view controller animated true, completion nil, else something went wrong, but we don't have errors. We'll leave that like that for now. Okay, so this should actually now put a new guy into our so do lawn, 20 cars. Watch out for the neighbor's dog. And save. Should have done all of its stuff. We should see a new update here in Firebase. Oh, we do. This guy. Lawn NA, okay, that looks all legit, and we should have seen it process a payment for what, 160 bucks out here. Yep. All right, and when we went back here, does it show us the pending? Pending did not update automatically.
I thought we had it that it was before though.
Well, no, we weren't adding this before. I have a feeling that we're only observing a single event here in the user screen. So user service list. Just hide that away here. Yeah, observe single event.
Where's the scroll down one?
Who?
I thought we had two of them. Or yeah, there's one below it. Oh,
That's child change. So now we need to do child added. Is there one for that? Ref dot observe event type dot child added snapshot. Is this going to do that ambiguous crap? Yeah, it is. Like sometimes Swift can tell what you mean, but most of the time it can't. Let's just look what this guy looks like for a moment.
It should be the exact same as the other one, shouldn't it?
But it won't be a list. This should just be a single child. So I think our error chance is less if we just observe it real quick. So let's go ahead and
You gotta go through the breakpoint. Bless you.
oh, so actually child added will replace our observe the single event for value. Because child added gets called. Remember we dealt with this originally when we were doing this on the
Yeah, it returns that specific child and it returns all of them, doesn't it?
it's returning every single child right now. I just ran it. So this is the fresh, nothing new's been. So with that in mind, each thing looks like this. So our snapshot is just a dictionary of the pieces. So what we can do is let me just steal this whole thing. I'll take the other pieces out. We'll just convert this over to not look at a single. All right, I'm going to take the loop out anyways. Because I don't need to go through every key in that dictionary because the key in the, ooh, that didn't go the way I wanted. The key in the dictionary is actually a, was our top level child, but we're getting, this guy's getting called one time for each of those things. So we already know what the snapshot looks like. There's our dictionary. So this guy's actually just going to be dictionary. Oh, hold on, what was this? We actually don't need a, this guy is called datum. Here's our user.
Snapshot.
This will be snapshot.key. Actually, yeah. And the rest of this should all be snapshot.key already a snapshot.key is a string. No conversion necessary. Datum, all the rest of the stuff should be fine. And all right, then we're telling the table view to reload after each one of these, so this should already just work. All right. So now we can just dump this observe single event. That, run it again, make sure that our initial data is all there. Whoa! Oh, I must have saved our number in our latest guy as a, yeah, size is always a string in the other ones. Just make sure that was the fix, and then I'll go and fix it in our save code. Yeah. All right, so save code says that size is that guy, the string version of the size. Now the cost is a number. Okay, the size is a string. Let me look at earlier ones. Okay, that should be legit. So now we should be able to go in and we'll add something, clear the sidewalks. That, let's save, it should add it, and there's our new one. Okay, so that seems to be working on this side. So now that's the user requesting stuff. The provider can do everything they need to do. So then let's think about this. So now we need to solve for how do we pay out providers, right? Actually, there's two pieces of information we really need to add. One is the user's profile. The second is the how do you pay out providers? Let's do user profile first. That'll lead us up to break, and then we'll pay out providers as the second half. All right, so currently when folks log in for our user, so let me go into login real quick. All right, this should work. I'm thinking we have a little tab bar thing where the main page is your current services, and then you have a tab for profile. When you flip over to that, it shows you your current profile. Do we want that? So if I'm, let me just launch it again real quick. How do we want to manage our profile? So if I'm on this screen, do we want to have just a, I don't know, we'd have to come up with a random button somewhere, somewhere in here, versus having like a tab down here that takes us to our profile. I suppose the other alternative would be we can put like a settings thing up here, and inside settings is where we can generate our, mess with our user profile as well as log out. So we can log out from within settings as well. You think that makes more sense, or the tab thing? Settings, okay. That'll be quicker anyways, so good choice. Let's see, so settings for a user is what? Or I'm sorry, profile for a user. We need to keep track of city, first name, last name, phone, state, street, and zip. Realistically, we could probably add a property or something like that, but at least starting point is we should gather this stuff. Like you could, maybe a user has a list of properties that they have, something like that, but I don't think that's necessarily required for this moment for an initial proof of concept. So we'll do this. We'll go into here. Let's put our settings out here to the left of user. And this guy's going to be this kind of screen. And then this. Look like that. And I think we have our logout button here hooked up to our Firebase logout that's part of all view controllers. So let's just call this settings there. We can. Do we have a gear?
Does it have one in there automatically?
No. Settings, icon, images. All right, which one do we like? You got 3 seconds. Who?
That one.
Yeah.
This one? All right. Save image as settings icon. I'm going to go ahead and open it real quick, and we're going to adjust the size of that guy down from the size of a tank to, let's make it 50 by 50. Actually, let's make it 30 by 30. That should be a good size for our little button. Do I have an images folder? I don't see one. New group. I butchered that. images. Then we'll I think it's like comedy programming. how much time do I spend telling jokes and stuff? Settings. Now this image is settings image icon. Well, that doesn't look the way I thought it was going to look at all. Wait, hold on. Tint. Why is that? It should definitely look better than that. Is there something like super weird about that icon? Like too much see-through or something? I mean, I guess it still kind of looks like a settings thing, but it looks kind of... Yeah, that looks stupid. Well, it is a see-through background, so I wonder if we could fix this. We have the technology. We're gonna just hack it. Background settings icon 30 by 30. Take the word off of it. There. That'll be our little secret. So rather than using a bar button item that belongs up here, I just put a regular button up there. Okay, but I do need to be a little careful now to make sure I select the actual button that needs to go to the screen. Show. And we'll throw user settings here. User settings like this, and let's go ahead and add this as a new file. User settings VC. Man, I should ask to learn to spell for Christmas. User settings VC. Okay, fair enough. Storyboard. Let's make sure we can get there. Okay, can't get back, but, we can definitely get there. Let's do. We'll call this update, and then we're going to give us a logout button in here as one of our options. And we can go ahead and hook up the logout button. We can hook up. Yep. And then we just need to write the update button. And missing constraints. Doesn't that button look fuzzy?
It looks good from on this screen.
I'm going to do something here. I think it became pixelated when we save image as settings icon, and we are going to leave it in its full glory. So we're setting it as a background image. It should resize itself. Let's see if that looks sharper. It does look better. It's weird why it would, but it does. All right, get there. We can get back. We can log out. Perfect. We can log in. All right. So now, pieces of information we need to capture are do we capture their first name and last name
There we go.
on the registration?
No, do we?
Nope. Okay. So we will capture it here. All right, so this is first name. We'll center that. Let's make this guy a little wider. Good enough. Last name. City. Well, what, Street 1 or something. Last name. Street 1. Oh, just where did we even get this from?
That?
Did we hard code it in?
Yeah, we hard coded that one in, but we have a form on the website, I thought.
Okay.
We made one.
Because I think we need to have 2 streets, right? In case there's like an apartment number or something like that. Street 1, Street 2, and then city. Actually, city could be a long name, right? You think? That's probably a decent suggestion to make this quick. City, state. I don't know why I decided to copy the last few. Zip. Zip is going to be a number keyboard. The rest of them should all be the default keyboard. Then we have our do you think our logout button should maybe go up here and
Update should be the bottom.
well, that seems that's no longer a thing. All right, update, something like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and let's set the width of all those guys and the height. Let's set their width to here. Actually, let me just to keep things. Do 200. We'll add constraints for each of those to maintain width and height. What's up?
Center it first.
I don't need to. I'm going to put it inside of a grid, a stack view rather. I just didn't want the stack view to get squeezed close. There we go. See how professional that looks? It's beautiful. And then we'll take these 2 guys and we'll embed in a stack view. Perfect. And then we'll does this guy even have a class yet? We haven't hooked it up. User settings VC, right? User settings VC. Hook this up. Get our update button. Update button pressed. Okay. And does our logout button still go to stuff, or did I break it when I? Yeah, I'm actually gonna dump that guy. We'll throw a new logout button up here. That's an actual bar button item rather than a button hack that looks like a bar button item, like we did with the gear thing on the first page. Okay, so back logout. There's our update. Those guys should be hooked up. We'll add any missing constraints. Looks legit. When we update, we need to we should probably validate that form that we at least need first name, last name, and street, city, state, zip. So they can omit street too, but we need the first ones. So we need to give ourselves IB actions for all those guys. Let me steal the first one, or IB outlets rather. So this is first name TF. Let's go into user settings. There's last name TF. Street 1, street 2, city, state, zip. Street 1, street 2, city, state, zip. Go and hook all those guys up. City, last name, state, street, street 2, zip. All right, then we have our validate. Oh, that's a strange place to put an outlet. Oh, that's an extremely strange place to put an outlet because that's not an outlet. Let's go disconnect that. That should have been an action, but I had it hooked up as an outlet. So let's get rid of that. And we'll just write the action. I'll drag it in real quick. That's going to be an action. Update button pressed. Go here, go here, go here. And we'll say that we need a func validate form. This guy's going to return a bool. It'll return true, assuming everything's legit. We need to do our test. So if first name, we really probably need an error message. Ooh, it's a strange place to go. Well, let's just do the test here first, and we'll deal with the error message when we come back from break. Var message is equal to the empty string. If first name, if text is equal to the empty string, then what are we going to do? I think you should actually just be able to do that. Message you must enter a first name. Else if last name, you must enter a last name. Else if street 1, you must enter a street. Else if city, you must enter a city. Else if state, you must enter a state. Else if zip, you must enter a zip. First name, last name, street 1, city, state, zip. All right. If message is equal to the empty string, then we can, let's do it this way. It's not equal to the empty string. Do error message stuff and return false. Otherwise, we'll come in here, we'll say if self dot, what do I call it, validate form. If that returns a true, do Firebase save stuff. All right, and we'll just make both of these errors for a second, and that will make it crash when we come back, so we'll know where to start. All right, let's take 20 minutes, and I'll see everybody at 8:22.